Now we're moving along to our session. Please welcome the second speaker, which will be delivered by Khairul Multazam and Mayan Wisnu Surya, and they will deliver their final project with the title Solar Power Energy Outlook in Nusa Tenggara Timur by 2016. Have you ready now?
Yes.
Okay, so please begin the presentation.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself before. My name is Khairul Multazam and my partner is Mayan Surya Pambudi. And we're gonna deliver our topic about solar power energy outlook in Nusa Tenggara Timur by 2060. So, why we use solar power energy to get an outlook in 2060? Regarding or referring to International Energy Agency, the most substantial or the biggest potential from Indonesia is solar power and onshore wind. So we want to know about how big the potential of solar power in Indonesia, especially in Nusa Tenggara Timur by 2060. Okay, for the introduction, we found the statement that make me hype or that make us surprised about the statement is Nusa Tenggara Timur, especially in Sumba, it can reach 10,000 megawatt in solar power. And the crazier thing is the vice governor says the most hottest sunshine in the world is in Indonesia, especially in Nusa Tenggara Timur. So we have no question. Maybe if we say it in Japanese, masuk sih kayak gitu. So we're gonna prove it by using our low emission analysis platform. For the disclaimer before, we just forecasting about the electricity. We doesn't forecasting about economy or macroeconomy and the other one kind of things. Okay, Nusa Tenggara Timur is one of the biggest province in Indonesia. It can fit 6.984 kilometer square. So why solar energy doesn't use in NTT? If we regard to the wide of Nusa Tenggara Timur, and we could on the solar energy unit is kilowatt hour per meter square. So it can be raise a huge power. So is it possible to build solar panel in every square meter of Indonesia? We have opinion. It can be possible, but there are so many regulation in our country that limited the build or the solar panel plan. Okay. The next is average duration. More than the average duration of sunshine in Nusa Tenggara Timur is more than average duration of sunshine in Indonesia, and it can be proved on the BMKG web, and will be proven on the next slide. So one of the variable we input on the LEAP or low emission analysis platform is population. In Nusa Tenggara Timur, per Juni 2022, it reached 5.46 million people in 2022. So it is gonna be a population explosion in 2060. Actually, we don't believe in our forecasting before because if we think about what is the most population in Indonesia, maybe in Java, and you're not wrong. We're not wrong. But in Nusa Tenggara Timur is one of biggest. It per Juni 2022, it reached 5 million. Okay. So this is development of electricity customer in 2018 till 2022. It's still 1/5 of total population in Nusa Tenggara that was the customer electricity in Nusa Tenggara Timur. And from 1/5, just 85.58% that using electricity for lightning. So this is gonna be interesting because what will be happen in 2060, because in today Nusa Tenggara Timur is still cannot be electrified like Java Islands, but we can forecast it. Okay, maybe this is one of the proof from the statement that what Vice Governor said. The hottest sunshine in the world is in Indonesia, especially in Nusa Tenggara Timur. This data we obtained from data BMKG, Live Lab Matahari. It said in Nusa Tenggara it can raise 4.3 till 7.5 kilowatt hour per meter square. So it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be a huge potential. Okay, on the next slide will be delivered by my partner, Mayan Wisnu Surya Pambudi.
Okay. Yeah. Potential energy, the choice of entity was based on data we got from BMKG. We can see mapping data, kind of before slide. We can see the data on Indonesia region that have the potential for solar panel development. Apart from that, the area is very large with a meadow, so it's easy to install solar panels. Next. We got the data from RWET 2019 and RUPTL 2021. In the 2020, power plant in NTT have been appeared in the PLN and IPP. The PLN have PLT UAP is kapasitas, the total capacity is 47, and PLT diesel is 121.9 megawatt, and PLT microhydro is 5.3 megawatt, and PLT geothermal is 10 megawatt, and PLT mesin gas is 119, and PLT surya is 4.2025 megawatt, and the PLT biomass is not appeared at the 2020, but in the independent power plant is have PLT WAP is 30 megawatt, and PLT microhydro is 0.5 megawatt, and PLT microhydro small mini is only 1 megawatt, and PLTS surya all solar panel is have 20.5 megawatts, and then Indonesia have run a PLT by a diesel have a total capacity is 195 megawatt. And from this data, we can forecast for to the saving net zero emission by 2016. Next. And we have used ROPTL data as the model that we will develop. They include electricity needs for population, business, public, and transport development. And then we can see the table. This is 2020 until 2060 total capacity needed for electricity. And for this data, we have growth the public, business, public, population, and transport development. We got the percentage for the growth is, and the household have 20% increase by year, and business 90% by year, and public is 5% by year, and industry 7% by years. And we can get the electricity growth by years for the household is 90%, and business is 19%, public is 4%, and industry is 8%. Okay, we got after we got the growth electricity by the ROPTL, we forecast with the ROPTL scenario. We got this in the ROPTL scenario. We can see the PLT machine gas have a lot of part and the scenario by ROPTL because is in the NTT until 50% use fossil oil to buy to power plant, and for this scenario is not achieving net zero emission by 2060. After that, we want to increase how to build a power plant by decrease the net zero emission based on the potential in NTT. For this data, we can see this is our team forecasting by the MABT energy, and we can see is a different graphic. Because of what we use based on ESR by 2030 is decrease 50% PL2 by coal to decrease, because PL2 coal is have a lot of emission by vapor. And then after that we imagine every years we must build is the solar panel on the NTT land, because of what NTT land have a lot of meadow in the island, and that we cannot hard to build the solar panel because it's not a forest, it's not a lot of forest and the NTT. And then we can see the MABT graphic. MABT PLT by solar panel will be increased at the 2030 because we assume that PLT Surya or solar panel and biomass can achieve the demand on the electricity by increase the population. And then we always use micro hydro and micro hydro mini, and then panas bumi or geothermal. Why the geothermal is not got a lot of part in the MABT? Because NTT is not a lot of potential by geothermal. Yes, and then this is our forecasting by LIP use forecasting by PLT Surya when the vice governor by assume that NTT can achieve the 10,000 megawatts buyers to potential the solar panel. Next. And then this the forecasting growth of solar panel generation, we can see in the MABT, we start from the zero at the 2020, and then we can grow to assume that the buyers, the solar panel will be developed buyers, and the BAU scenario is not developed is optimal and the ROPTL, because the ROPTL based on the only based in the fuel oil, not using renewable energy. That's why MMBT scenario will be achieve the growth demand population by 2060 if the technology renewable energy can approve and implement in NTT and then government can support the renewable energy power plant and the NTT. But this is so difficult because it's our problem is transition energy from the fuel oil to the renewable energy. Next. And then this is the graphic by 2020 in the power plant in the NTT. That's we can see the PLT diesel achieve 50% in the NTT power plant to produce electricity for the population. And then the 24.5 is using a PLT watt, and the machine gas is 20.3%. That's why the NTT is not achieve use net zero emission if we base data from this 2020. And the next, this is a scenario by the PLN or IPP. That's why PLN is only focused on the fuel oil and the coal, and then it's so difficult by PLT using the increase to demand because of PLT machine gas or gas is so, but is a man of a power plant in the NTT. But next, in the our scenario, we need by assume that we always can increase the solar panel development and increase the efficiency technology by solar panel. We can get in the 2060 is can approve to 35.4% by produce electricity to in the NTT. This is our forecasting by MABT in the 2060. We can see the MABT renewable energy can achieve the growth of demand of populations. Next. And then the conclusion is this scenario only can be applied in the strict supervision. It is undeniable that this scenario was just the deal desired without counting on economy, time, and depend on the more efficiency technology and emission buyers, because it's difficult if the technology can improve from this day until the future. We hope this technology can increase the efficiency until the 2060, that we can NTT achieve the net zero emission by renewable energy. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you to the second presenter. Now we move to the question and answer section. Please, if you have a question, you can raise your hand and come forward. Okay, Mas Andika.
Okay, thank you, Susnya, for the opportunity. So for group 2, you have already explained before that the biggest potential is solar panel or solar power plant, right? Okay, and my simple question is, in your scenario, especially in MEBT, will it be sufficient to the electricity demand by 20 and 60? That's it. Thank you, Miss.
Okay, thank you. And the next question, please. Okay.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. I want to ask for group 2. From what was represented by group 2 in this final project, which is located in NTT, your project used two scenarios. The first scenario is MEBT scenario and also PLN scenario. From the result of obtained, according to Mas Mayan and Mas Irul, which scenario can be said to be good for implementation in NTT, and why you choose that scenario? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. So the first question is about, is the scenario of solar power plant in Nusa Tenggara can fulfill the demand in 2060? And for the second question is which one is the best scenario to be implemented in East Nusa Tenggara? Please, you can answer the question.
Okay. Thank you from Mr. Andika for the question. Is it will be sufficient from the MEBT scenario, our scenario, to fulfill the demand of electricity by 2060? From the data we've got, it still doesn't fulfill the electricity demand by 2060. Because we don't counting on economy and economic growth and time and the efficient technology, because maybe it will be more simple like this. Solar power, it cannot just apply on the power plant, but in every house can be applied. If you know about the rooftop solar power, so if the economic growth will increase yearly and by 2060 will be in Indonesia will be the rich people maybe. So it's gonna be a little investment to get free energy in our home. So there is no mati listrik. There is no mati listrik again anymore. So is it enough?
And the second question is whether the efficient MEBT or PLN scenario. I think is in the scenario we use the ISR. Is in the 2060 we must achieve the net zero emission. I think in the RUPTL use the resource we have on the Indonesian. That's why PLN scenario can always use coal or fuel oil, because we have the technology in the Indonesian and we have in the NTT too. And for the MEBT is efficient too, because the MEBT I think in the future will be increased and more popular in the Indonesia. But in Indonesia have opportunity to grow the renewable energy. I think the two scenario is different by the resource, because the PLN have the resource by the Indonesia, and the MABT is by the future resource. And then the is depend to in MABT is depend to the technology. I think this the second choice. We will have the technology in the electricity to demand and get grow to the electricity by the population. I think is MABT will be good in the future because to net zero emission in the achievement. Okay, thanks.
How, Mbak Bella? Is it clear? Okay, now here comes the end of the second session from our second speaker. Please give a round of applause.